但我白小纯一世英名，还妥了。如果真的被丢到
Two fairies in the world while they were playing a game which looked like chess, until one of them, who's called Li Qiangyu, the fairy of the soul flow sect, had a signal about a real human who summoned him using black essence. He left his sister and went to check about what's that. As he showed himself from the sky, he found a little boy named Bei Xuanchu in High Mountain. He seemed to be surprised that finally his magic worked. As they start talking, the boy told him that he spent the last 3 years of his life trying to summon a fairy. He asked more information about his dead father and the second family which took care of him. After that, he started talking about the main topic which brought them both there. The boy wanted to get the secret of eternity. He aimed at cultivating it and to be an immortal. The fairy accepted to guide him to immortality sect. The only thing Bei Xuanchu wants to add is to leave a message for his village who were not happy to know that he will be back someday. The new journey in the fairies' world just got started. It appeared to the boy that Li is a very important person in that world, so calmly he landed him down in a green area and told him that he can start learning down there. Another fairy called Zhang Dai came to say hi. While they were getting to know each other, Xu Baoqi had a problem with the fact that they replaced him with another weak boy. He started attacking them with his magical swords. Zhang Dai kept protecting the new boy until Chu used the blood that came out of his nose and put a spell on him. The result was a seal on his hand, but the big guy told him that he has nothing to worry about if he will not accept the fight. In the next scene, Zhang Dai took the boy in a tour around the kitchen and introduced him to 8 other workers. Then it was time to choose a pot. Something will signify his job as a worker in the ignition oven. The boy spent hours looking for a light pot to be easier for him to carry it, and the choice landed on a turtle-shaped pot. At night, the boy recalled what happened with him that day and told himself that he wants the secret of immortality. By taking a look on some of the papers which were there, he remembered Zhang's explanation what they will do next. The steps were so complicated, and while he was crying his luck, he heard some voices outside. Slowly he turned off the lights and stepped to the door to spy. The view was about a feast, meat and drinks, and people eating greedily. As he was trying to go back to his room, they caught him and revealed that they will not let him go. They forced him to eat with them the spiritual food, while explaining that by eating the food, they helped their bodies to stay healthy, and they insisted about keeping it a secret. After one day, they gathered again. The boy showed how impressed was about the magical food. They laughed at him and explained that the food has no powers. And there are 3 possible methods for farmers to develop their skills. The first one is by using a medicine, as their mountains are well known by their production of contraceptive pills. The second one is about weapons, refining equipment. And last but not least, the third option, where almost all the students worked on it, the formation of the spiritual reform. It requires collecting the power of the sun and earth and to direct it towards the goal. This will lead to the appearance of a special seal on the creatures who used it. Also, that will improve his skill. Then he told him about the spiritual guard of their sect, a soul that is made perfectly and refined more than 10 times. The days passed and the boy kept working on his powers when he realized that the pot he chose made him getting older instead of helping him to be an immortal. He finally got out of his room and called Xiao Baoqi for the fight. Nothing happened. Zhang Dai told him that his competitor has been missing since the day they saw him the first time, and he probably gave up. One of the workers told him that there was a reward for the person who will help him, and there was some saving he could take to buy what he needed to do this mission. The prize at the end is improving the winner's life for a year. In the next morning, the boy went out to buy what he needed. However, the saving could barely help him to buy a piece of paper. Unexpectedly, when he was standing on a line in a shop, Xiao Baoqi appeared with 2 of his servants, totally ready to start the fight. Bei Xiaochun was so afraid and started running away asking for help. Indeed, the fight got started, and when the 8 workers came, they were shocked by what they saw. The boy was fighting so hard and he won at the end. It was then when they realized that he's the 3rd level already. The bells start knocking, announcing the beginning of the exam, which will allow them to be in a higher level and to make them join the foreign sect as students. The boy was so optimistic, but Zhang Dai asked him to calm down because none of them could ever make it in that exam. The exam got started and the group gathered to make a plan. The 9th workers suggested being the last ones in order to keep their energy while the others exhaust themselves. As they start their journey to get to the gate on top of that mountain, they faced a lot of obstacles and they kept moving forward till they arrived to their destination. They caught the 3 first places. The guard told them by getting through a portal which was there, they will be making the first official step to be an immortal. And instead of taking this golden chance, they decide to make a deal with those who want to make this step. He will let them go in his place if they will give him 200 magical stone, and that will save him off of his poverty. At first, the guard did not agree on that, but they proved that they respected the rules and he had not the right to stop them. The girl from Hava's tribe suggested paying 2,000 stone and they agreed to take them. A couple of moments later, an old man arrived and expressed his rejection and decided to take that group to the court. While they walked by the door, he tricked Bei Xiaochun and threw him toward that gate. The trick would end Bei Xiaochun's plan, but the turtle shaped pot didn't move and saved his master by throwing that old man instead. The group became rich. As they were counting their spiritual stone, the voice of Li came out of the sky and started picking them up to join their different foreign sect. Bei Xiaochun met Hu Yunfei, who gave him a warm welcome and started explaining how the studies in pharmacy will be going. Then they went together to a huge library. It was so fascinating to see that much of books, and the most interesting things were the holy books. The boy kept looking for something which contains the method of the eternal life. When he found it, the dean of the library started explaining how that method works. He told him that many people tried, but none of them could really succeed. The boy insisted to take it and asked the dean to put a seal on it. When he went out, he started reading until he found that old man who pushed him to the gate. It appeared then that they are in the same foreign sect. That old man didn't think twice before attacking the boy, and they start running until Bei Xiaochun found himself inside of an exam room where he drew some signs that signifies him, and the exam started. After following the instruction, he got his points. The examination was so exhausting and it sucked up his energy. When he got out, he met the girls from Hava's tribe, and then he saw Li's sister, and they saw that room showed the light of Bei Xiaochun's signs, which means that he did a great performance. Li's sister tried to beat the record, but she failed every time. The column showed the total sign. That was the topic of the day between the crowds. So mysterious and strong. After thousands of years, finally someone could activate the 10 columns. And at night, it lighted with that total sign and the boy got the treasure. When the door opened, people were waiting to see the owner of that huge power, but he tricked them and sneaked out. They could see a piece of his cloth. Chu Qingqi kept following him until Li appeared and stopped them. When Bei Xiaochun got rid of them all, he opened the treasure to see his elixir, but the spiritual chicken stole it and ate it. And the next day, Bei Xiaochun wondered how smooth his journey was and how he was doing great. At night, he starts following the method that he read about, but when he woke up in the morning, he found himself starving till death. At that moment, he realized what the dean told him, so he decided to take his revenge from the hand who stole his elixir by going to Chanyu Mountain, where Lengui chicken farm is situated, and he stole hand to fill his empty stomach. In the morning, when he was walking around, he heard Li's sister talking about the thief. She was telling people that the one who will catch him will be awarded by taking her necklace. Somehow, Bei Xiaochun convinced her that he was the perfect person to take care of the farm, so she gave him the authority to be there whenever he wants. That was his golden chance to steal as much as he needed. And indeed, that night he went to steal a hand, but in the middle of his attempt, the voice of the sister seemed to be so close. He felt so embarrassed, but then he found out that she was not talking to him. He again manipulated her and took the necklace for the good job which he didn't even do. He kept stealing after that and filling his stomach to train for the method of becoming an immortal. For a moment, everything was so fine until Li comes out and discovers everything. It was so shameful, and the boy had no other choice except running away to the Snacks Valley where he got stuck. He begged the master to save him, but this will happen under one condition only, which was to go to Shenyun Mountain and participate in the Xaobi that will happen in 2 months. He either gets into the top 5 or he will be sent back to his dangerous valley. It was a losing game since the beginning, but he agreed on that. Days of training and studying were passing. The boy was doing his best. The day of the competition arrives and all the participants were so good. Bei Xiaochun was not ready at all, and he was not planning to go until a voice came from the sky and forced him to be there. He met Zhu Lingfei, who seemed to be so nice and beautiful. At the beginning, the lottery will decide the competitors and the winner will pass to the second round automatically. The boy was the last one to fight, and when his turn came, he took a while to come out and face his destiny. Everyone in that place started laughing at his weak performance. When the fight got started, the bot did another magical move to save its owner. They accepted his victory but asked him to leave his kitchen tools with the guards for his next fight in order to avoid cheating. One of Bei Xiaochun's nightmare became a reality when the lottery made him fight with Feng Yan, who's one of the strongest competitors. At the beginning, the little boy managed to gain some time to get rid of his adversary. However, Feng started the attack and got surprised by the reaction of Bei, who started crying and begging to let him win. It was so pathetic to ask for such a thing, so he forced Bei to show at least one move. As the boy was trying to show them a bit of his talent, Feng got bored and didn't wait till the end. He starts another attack, and Bei did what any boy in his place would ever do, protect himself with the spells he bought. When he saw that he had no more spells, he gave up, but the necklace of Li's sister protected him and caused some injuries to the other competitor. At the moment, things got more serious, and they both attacked with their sword, which got attached in one point, and unexpectedly, Bei won. In the third round, Bei faced the pretty girl Du Lingfei, who was not satisfied with his methods. As they started, she attacked him with no mercy and stabbed his chest. He fell down. Everyone thought it was a serious thing, but it appeared that he was only checking the hardness of his jacket. The girl at the beginning freaked out, but when she knew that the injury was not real, she passed out. They chose to give them another test to decide the winner of this battle. He asked them to name the plants which he created. The girl started first, but she could only name 8, unlike Bei, who named them all and added short medical explanation to each one of them. His answer was so impressive and gave him the victory, and by this, he won the whole competition. And the next day, an unwanted guest knocked on the door. Shu Baoqi came to tell him that Feng Yan and Du Lingfei are looking over him. The two guys spent the day together, and at night, while they were getting drunk, Chu told his partner that he could successfully read the Foundation establishment and make the Legacy Echelon. He confesses that it's a hard thing to do, but it was worth it because at the end, there will be a chance to increase 100 years of life spa. He added then that they can't afford Foundation establishment pills, but the bright side was the ability to make them by themselves. Bei decided to move up the apothecary rank before he'll be allowed to refine pills. Later, the rumors start turning around about Bei, who joined the apothecary promotion test as he was the last one to start refining, but he did an impressive work. And in his final batch, he created an elixir. The boy became so famous between people, and they happily asked him for help in studying matters. Everything was going smoothly when Chu came running and asked his partner to hide, and it might be too late. When they got out, they found Chu Qingqi, who came by the orders of the court to tell him that he is summoned for a disciplinary hearing. Bei joined Feng Yan and Du Lingfei in their trip to save Hu Yanfei. They took a flying ship, the thing which was so terrifying to the boy. Du Lingfei told Bei that the court never let the students go to such a mission. Then they had to walk as they have no magical stones left. The jungle at night was so scary. However, they keep moving forward and they hear a weird sound coming over them. They hide until they saw it. It was a huge beast passing by, and just after that, they got attacked by bats with 2 heads. Bei disappeared after this incident, and the bats kept following him. In the morning, Du Lingfei was so worried about Bei until she heard his voice coming back and started telling them what happened to him all night and how he fought the bats. The forest was so dangerous place to walk in. Feng suggested staying all together, and then they go to their destination in Hava's property. A temple in the middle of the forest. They got into it, where they found a man with a long hair. He guided them until a song stopped them. It was made by some strange creatures. They were on a tree. Suddenly, the man who guided them disappeared, and red shadows started attacking them. A couple of minutes later, they found themselves trapped. Du Lingfei attacked the man with long hair and he disappeared. The red shadow showed itself as it's a monster in woman's body. She stopped Bei from getting to the gate. However, when he attacked her, she disappeared as well. The group found Hu Yanfei stuck in a tree. They gave him a medicine and he opened his eyes right after that. Du Lingfei and her brother could make it out, but Feng showed another face to Bei and he tried to kill him. Unfortunately, he just got himself stuck with a magical tree. As he was trying to get himself out, the man with long hair came again and told him that he might never get out and probably he will be killed soon. Apparently Han got killed, and that man with long hair asked his leader from Lu Chen family to forgive him for not being able to kill the 3 others. Du Lingfei and Bei Xiaochun were so sad because they couldn't save him. And Hu Yanfei revealed more details about Lu Chen family and how they kill innocent people to become more powerful. He also explained how did they catch him. Suddenly 2 ghosts attacked them. It was Chen Yu who came back to kill them. Du Lingfei decided to send the boy for help and to face the danger on her own. At the moment, everyone had his own battle to face. When the girl almost got killed, Bei Xiaochun unexpectedly came back and saved her. She admired what he did and how he was fighting to save them all. Even when Lu Chen was attacking him, that did not cause any damage. Pure signs of eternity. When his injuries got cured by themselves, everyone was shocked. He showed a totally different level of his power and outstanding performance. But at the end of the fight, he passed out. Lu Chen, the 8th level student, got killed. Chen's family could not believe that so powerful guy like him got killed. They freaked out, but Cheng Hang, his teacher, showed himself and revealed that he will take things in charge. Back to Bei, who woke up to find himself between Du Lingfei's arms. She helped him to take off the sword which was on his chest. Right after that, when they were discussing about how he could activate that much of power, someone hit Bei with a spear when he covered the girl. They start running away to get off that dangerous place. Cheng Hang was following them, so excited to meet this guy who killed one of his bravest students. On their way, they had a fight with some servants, and that caused a very bad injury to Hu Yunfei. After taking some rest, they had another obstacle to get through. Cheng Hang clearly showed himself by coloring the sky with red. He was a 9th level student and they almost had no chance against him. Their enemy was approaching so fast. Hu Yunfei and Du Lingfei forced Bei to go on his own. They were seeing themselves as an honest and they waited for that danger to come. That boy lured all the servants away to protect his friends, and almost every couple of moments he got into a new fight while the teacher is watching. At the end, he gathered with his 2 friends and asked them to leave while he faces another group of fighters. When he got rid of them, he called the thief. Suddenly, a huge snake came by and untied his body to a tree. At the moment, Cheng Hang arrived. While Hu Yunfei and Du Lingfei were moving forward to their destination, Bei believed that he was going to die until he remembered his mother's last words when she asked him to survive and keep living. At the moment, he killed the snake and started a face-to-face fight with Cheng Hang. The fight reached an interesting level. The girl had to promise Hu Yunfei that she will keep moving alone when he felt that he couldn't keep moving while the boy was doing his best to gain more time. At the end of the fight, Cheng Hang stabbed Bei's chest, but before killing him, the boy revealed that he was going to die. Then, they will die together and stabbed him back with his hand only. Du Lingfei made it to the transportation portal and asked for help. Li sent all the soldiers to save Bei and the rest of the innocent survivors, and Chen's family realized it was too late and there was a big danger coming over. It was the beginning of the war. Li and the whole sect destroyed the castle of Chen's family in a so majestic way. Then they start looking for their boy. Du Lingfei joined the search also. All they found was a piece of his clothes. They had no hope to find him alive as he faced one of the most powerful teachers. They all start accepting the fact that he died in order to protect them, and what an honor to die for such a goal. They all cried for this loss and built a temple to appreciate his efforts. After that, it was the moment to appreciate what Hu Yunfei and Du Lingfei did. When the leader was about to honor Du Lingfei, she refused and asked to be protected while she go to Dongling instead. She believed that Bei will be back someday, and she convinced them to put her in charge of that sect. On the other side, Bei woke up alive and realized what he did and the people he killed. Then he saw a guardian there who explained the situation for him. When the boy wanted to go and check about his friends, he found a barrier which stopped him. The old man explained that he could never survive without it. Then he gave him a pill which will help him to get his power back, and he disappeared but promised to be there after 15 days. The boy used the pill and some magical tricks using his spot, and he broke the barrier. When he went out, he found that old man who congratulated him for his fabulous work and asked him to keep what happened between them as a secret. Before leaving, he handed him a copy of another method of living an eternal life. On the other side, more precisely in Duling City, where Du Lingfei was in her trolley when a beggar stopped them. She asked a servant to give him some magical stones. When that guy spoke, she recognized his voice. It was him, the boy who saved her once, Bei Xiuchun. At night, they had a conversation about all what happened during the last month, where she explained everything and revealed that she moved to that city because she believed that someday he will be back. In the morning, the leader made a statue of Bei, and at the moment when he showed it to people, a strange person who looked like a beggar jumped into it. They didn't know it was their hero. People were so happy, including Li. Bei revealed to the leader that he does not want any promotion and he wants to keep working on how to be an immortal. So he offered him a new sword and magical shield to help him in his journey. Finally, he got back to his normal life and friends, and he knew how people prayed for him and appreciated his sacrifices. After, some news told that dueling Fei disappeared. In the next morning, Shubauchi brought a lot of gifts for his dear friend, all coming from different houses to express their happiness. Then they hang out together, and when they flew, they couldn't control themselves and fell on a tree. At that moment, Bei heard the voice of Chiao Fei. He landed down and started talking to him and bullying him until his teacher, Cheng Guan Tianyu, showed up and stopped him. Apparently, he was so strong and made the limits clear before leaving. People in the next day were preparing themselves for the auction where they can sell some of their plants. Bei was trying to create magical pills using some cheap leaves, but he couldn't realize that until he caused an explosion. When he went outside to get some fresh air, he found a box which contained some precious plant. And the next day, Bei met his friend before the auction got started. Everyone in that room was excited and waiting to see the new magical plants. When Bei's turn came to sell his first article, the price suggested was so low, and he failed in convincing people to buy them. His next article was cheap, but it has been worked on. In addition, it had the famous total sign, which attracted people. The piece was sold to his friend for 10,000 magical stone. When Bei got his magical stones, Qiumei confessed that it was her plan since the beginning, to help him with her fortune because it was the only thing she had, not like him who had the talent. Right after, the leaders announced that Bei Qiuchun would not get married in the next 100 years. When he went back to his room, he continued making those magical pills. He failed in most of them, but the last one was well made. Then unexpectedly, the scenario of the chicken which ate the elixir happened again. But it was a rabbit this time. When he dropped the pill, the creature ate it and died right after that. The pill was not supposed to kill. That's why he made a monkey eat it and start other attempts. All the animals that ate those pills had some changes in their behavior. He realized then that he can refine his product using the lightning from the sky, which caused some huge amounts of rain. The leader got mad at him and his failure and almost punished him, but Li interrupted at the right time. When Li realized what happened to the animals, he got mad as well and asked the boy for explanation. Bei Xiaochun didn't say anything and kept asking for forgiveness and begged him to get another method. When he got what he wanted, he went straightly to his room and started working on it by staying there for more than 3 months. During this period of time, he improved his powers. He was able to be anywhere in his imagination at any time. His friends was worried about him, especially when the competition to choose the pride of the sect is getting closer. While he was training, Li entered his imagination and took him to participate in the competition. He found his friend Hu there, also a lot of talented participants. When he took his way to the gate like the other competitors, he found himself stuck with snakes. The unexpected thing was the monkey who stole his last pill, which could save him. If things will stay on this way, he will be eliminated for sure. He decided to make a move and throw more pills powder on the snakes that affected their behavior. Some of them start acting like cats and dogs, but one of them acted like a horse and helped him to get to his destination and to win the race. That boy made it through the gate and got the first place. The leader divides them into groups, where the first 5 arrives will upgrade their skills and prepare themselves for another fight apparently. Bei's group joined the cruelest participant, so he felt so afraid and decided to run away before the beginning of the fight. However, Li stopped him and took him back to the place where they met each other on the first time. He told the little boy that the journey he made since the first day was not easy and he can't stop at this point. He must win the battle or he will be transported back to his old village without even gaining the pleasure to be an immortal. Another student told him the characteristic of each competitor. On his way back, an awkward thing happened between him and a girl on the river, and at the end, he found himself in the Forbidden Land fighting a huge monster. As usual, he gave a pill to that beast, but things went differently this time when he asked him for more. The boy had to make another big pill to satisfy that creature, and when he did, the valley started shining and he saw so many signs on the walls. Just after that, the monster fled and became a sign as well. The boy passed out and woke up after a couple of days to find himself at home. Only a few days are left for the fight, and Bei Xiaochun didn't prepare himself well. The rules say that one participant from the north faces a participant from the south. The battles were so cruel, and some of them were stopped by the examiners. Bei's turn came to fight with Bei Han Li. As the fight got started, the enemy called his magical beast. It seemed at the beginning the game will end soon, but when the beast ate the pill, his behavior got changed and became a cute creature. Bei doubled the dose and he won the battle, but the problem was that he was not allowed to use any pill. An examiner tried to eliminate him, but Li didn't accept. And while they were talking about these conditions, they saw a lot of birds flying in the sky, and apparently the smell knocked the bells on the beast's head. The pill seemed to be causing a problem by attracting different kinds of birds. But as unexpected, The examiners asked Bei for the recipe. He didn't want to give it, but Lee suggested to the other teachers to give him one of the most important methods of using magic. At first, they didn't agree with that, but the pill was worth negotiating for. In the next day, the boy went to the Dark Valley looking for the dragon. When he arrived there, he showed the copy of the secret method, and suddenly it started shining in blue and it took him to the middle of a sea. He didn't understand what was happening until the dragon told him that he was an interesting boy and he will get the help he needs. More details were added to the copy after that. In the city, a so strange thing happened where all the animals, birds, and spiritual chicken ran away from their owners to an unknown destination. Bei was with the dragon when he realized that those animals were coming for him. As he had to choose one of them to keep it, the choice landed on a group of shiny insects. His choice helped him a lot in his next battle, and he shocked people with his ability of controlling them. It was not something new. The impression he left on people's mind became no longer unexpected. The first 5 winners prepared themselves for the last battle where they get their ranks. Again, the lottery decided their advisors, while Bei was lucky and missed this step as the fights were done 2 by 2. But then he had to fight one of the strongest students, Shangguan Tianyu, who asked him to stop playing the idiot and to start fighting like a man. The crowd was so optimistic about Bei and disrespected Shangguan's powers. He was not happy about this thing and he started attacking angrily. The boy's reaction was outstanding answer. He had a reason to fight for, his family. As soon as he won the battle with Shangguan Tianyu, another student from the southern region came to fight in his turn. It was a show of talents and skills more than a fight. Somehow, Bei didn't think well about the choice of his method and put himself in a big danger. The end seemed to be so bad. When everyone thought that the boy finally lost the battle and revealed that his advisor needs much more effort to get rid of him, the boy had reached a high level of confidence and power. He was an interesting student, but the fight developed and became a matter of life and death. At this moment, the boy felt ready to use the method he once learned with the dragon. Using seawater, he could stop the other guy, but suddenly the blue color disappeared. The sea was no longer blue. It was what they call auto-consummation. When he started consuming other students' power, everybody ran away for their safety, and the teachers found themselves obliged to stop that dangerous process while Bei was passed out. Things got worse when the examiners couldn't stop him. Even when Lee tried to put more efforts, the boy didn't wake up. They gave up on him and watched him dying at that age until the dragon Tianjiu showed himself from nowhere. Everything got fixed in a second. The boy didn't die. At the end of that process, his vital spirit was supposed to be there. The sky turned to be red and horns started to show up, but everything disappeared. 1 month later, in the transportation portal, the teacher gathered to tell a speech about the choice of the sect's pride, and they announced it was Bei. After expressing how proud they were to be present in such an event, they announced to them the new list of competitions with the 3 other sects for the construction of the earth: Dan Chi sect, Xuan Chi sect, and Shu Chi sect. The leader confessed that it will not be an easy journey and they must prepare themselves well for this, especially when the destiny of their sect depends on them. They opened the portal to announce the beginning of the battle, and it was the moment when they felt proud to be a part of such a huge event. The reunion of 3 sects was so majestic, and by opening the magical portals, they announced the beginning of the battle. Every student had to choose a portal to get through. Almost all the pride did it, except Bei, who found himself surrounded with 3 injured persons. He motivated them, but he didn't know that this will work, and they got rid of the guards. But they entered the portal first and left him behind to find another one. After that, Hu Yunfei appeared to Bei, and they decided to help each other. The portals were getting closed one by one, and their time almost got to an end. The competition was so tough, and they had to be so careful. They finally targeted one gate. They watched it together, but Hu went through it first, and it got closed right after that. Bei found himself alone, and while he was looking for another way to join his friend, he met Song Q, but he felt afraid and ran away. Luckily, he found another portal, and his journey finally got started. When he landed on that desert, he had to fill his empty bottle with drops of power called QI. The first drop was so easy, but when he turned his face, he saw those 3 persons who helped him to get through the portal. They were so injured and barely could speak to tell him it was a trap. He saved them first and stayed to face the danger on his own. A guy surrounded him with a purple gas, and they got into a so quick fight which ended by his disappearance. Right after that, a girl named Wen Er ran to Bei's arms in fear because a flock of dogs were coming over her, and by killing them all, Bei got more QI drops to fill his bottle. They decided to stay together, but they were never alone. It was the place where even rocks had ears and eyes. After a sandy storm, they found themselves in a cave where they were attacked by a weird egg which will stay with them apparently. Bei Xiuchun decided to make more pills, but it didn't work, and he caused an explosion which helped them later to find their way out. On the other side, Song Q was doing his best to collect the QI he needed to fill his bottle, and Bei succeeded in making his famous pill. His happiness couldn't last as the dogs showed up and started their attack, but this time had a positive side as well, because when he killed them all, he filled his bottle. And when he was celebrating his QI liquid, other students stole it and started fighting for it. It was such a fortune at that time. Bei could bring his battle back by putting his life in danger, and as he fell down the tree, a girl riding a tigress showed up and the boy recognized her voice. He knew that she was following them. In order to save his life, he found himself obliged to use one of the pills he had, and that gave him enough time to hide between the trees. At that moment, more students showed up and kept threatening him to give his bottle, but he did what he masters the most: he ran away. When he thought he got rid of them all, the shock was when the girl on the tigress said hi. That girl was not easy. She was able to control the big guys and to make her own army. She was a demon who liked how the pill smells, and she kept following the boy just like all the other students who want his bottle. After that, he met Xu Xiaoshan, who followed the treasure which Bei had, and they ended up fighting each other until they got scared of that demon and decided to reunite their powers to stop her. During all this mess, Song Q was doing a great job, and he also could fill his bottle. When he thought it was the right time to give what he earned and to win the race, he realized that Bei did it first. By opening another portal, Song QI started giving back his QI as well, but he was more powerful and his portal was consuming Bei's QI. The boy found himself chained and he couldn't move his body until the egg which he found in the cave helped him to get back his stolen QI, while other students were opening more gates. Suddenly, the light of Bei's portal started turning off. So he decided to use the secret method of his sect. All the other students were watching and giving their judgment and predictions. At that moment, Bei remembered what Li told him about using the right method at the right time. He studied his situation and decided to go forward with his idea. He shocked them all when he started consuming their QI. The competitors started hitting the barriers to stop their enemy's process of transporting the QI while he was going fast and reached the 9th level. His friends were trying to stop any possible danger and they got into fights with other students. One of the enemies did it and reached the mountain where the boy was, and when he tried to interrupt the process, something so weird happened. The boy consumed him and suddenly the light turned into red. It was so scary, and Bei came out with a totally different personality. The sky had the same color of his eyes, red, the color of anger which appeared when he started attacking the other competitors. For the first time, killing a person was not an issue to him. Using the worst strategies ever, something was controlling him. Something was wrong. After a few minutes, the boy woke up from his unconsciousness and helped his injured friend Hu Yunfei. After that, he saw that Song Qiu reached the 8th level of the process, and in order to stop him, he must fight. Well, the process got stopped, but it was not that easy to end a fight with Song, who launched the QI of the sky, and they both kept fighting hard. In the end, just all the past competition, the thing which became normal, the victory stood up on Bei's side, and he succeeded in this mission. Hu Yunfei asked the boy to find their friend Wen-Er, and he went through the open portals because he was so injured, and unexpectedly, the demons started fighting the boy, who opened another portal and ran away. But something happened to Wen-Er. The difference in the color of her eyes was telling a dangerous story. When Bei woke up, he found himself a broke boy in the middle of the forest, so he went to Dongling City. He tried to find his lover, but he couldn't. He was so confused about her and the way she disappeared. Suddenly, when he was sleeping, she came up and she surprised him, but somehow he fell asleep. Right after that, she started explaining that she was protecting him all the time, but she won't be able to do it anymore. She revealed that they will not be able to see each other after that night, and indeed, when he woke up, he found Li instead. He told him that there was a traitor living with them. Bei Xiuchun was living the saddest moment of his life, and he closed the door of his room. He didn't even accept to see his friends until the creator of the Lingqi sect came to him. The old man explained how and why the sect are fighting for the place and showed him the way to get the eternal life he wants. He gave him a copy of instruction to guide him through his next journey, and he left while warning him of the big responsibility he was accepting by walking on this path. The boy didn't agree on opening the door to his friends, so they just broke it and tried to motivate him with some cups of tea and a nice conversation, while Zhang Dai offered him a box as a gift. And the next day, Bei Xiuchun wanted to see the dragon and to show him the weird egg. The boy wanted to know more about it, and maybe to make it his own partner. Again, The dragon lured all the animals of the city and sent them to his house. They stood up in a big line to face the egg and to let her consume a part of their power. They came out so exhausted after that, the thing which made the teacher angry, and they decided to talk to this weird boy to know more details about his plan. When he was about to show them the egg, it flew out of the house and a little monster was inside of it. After a couple of seconds, it came back to his hands. And indeed, a real beautiful creature came out. But suddenly, when Zhang Dai approached, something seemed to be wrong. The teacher realized that it was a royal dragon. They ran to his room and tried to put spell on it or something to bring it back to life because it didn't absorb enough QI power. The boy did his best and saved his little dragon, which he named Tai Dan. All the girls of the city loved how cute the creature was and kept following it. The dragon did so strange thing when it stole the girls' bathrobes, and all the citizens start talking about this shameless act. They went to Bei's house to talk about this matter. He tried to hide the bathrobes, but he couldn't, and the leaders warned him about this. Even Li was so serious. He tried to convince them that Tai Dan did it, but he had no chance. The rumors about Bei and his royal partner start rolling all around the city, and it appeared that the animal was sent to a dangerous valley while his owner started his journey to a high mountain to get an inheritance from the ancestor. When he arrived there, he saw a shadow, and straightly after that, he asked for inheritance. But unfortunately, it was a random girl who wished him luck, but also warned him that it was a competition and they must get as much inheritance as they could, knowing that there were only 20. He was so confident that he could make more, and indeed, he made more inheritance, a thing that never happened before. It was a clear sign that he reached a really high level. A voice told him that he activated a lot, but he must choose only one inheritance, and he chose the rarest one, a vision which made him see the hidden things. On his way back, he met his little dragon. And the next day, when he was showing his new wings to his friends, he saw Werner, who has been missing since the day of the big battle. The surprise was not just seeing her, but also she forgot everything and her behavior got changed a lot. Tai Dan didn't like her. The boy kept training and working on his power anyway, and for the second time, he started making another pill, but it ended by causing more damages. When the leader came, he decided to punish him, but he hurt the little dragon instead. He felt so guilty, but luckily they were just acting. When the leader knew about that, he decided to punish them, but the boy asked for the permission to go in a new adventure in order to make his own sword. The leader didn't believe that, and he was so happy that the boy is leaving for a couple of days, and so was the whole sect. In another sect, Bei Xiaochun was hanging out with a fat guy who made a mask which gave him the ability to change his clothes in order to spy on Shu Qi's sect with no problems. The guy warned him about the danger he was going to find. As he entered the sect, he was identified as Yizhang. The citizens were so violent and cruel, and there he saw a lot of familiar faces, including Xu Qiaoshan and Song Qiu, and also a masked girl he once met in battle. Xu Qiaoshan told the boy about how important is the central pig and that Song's aunt is the person who is in charge with it. And during a fight, they almost discovered his true identity, but he was saved by a woman who loved him. When he got rid of that obsessed woman, he met the guy who gave him the mask, and they realized how much the central pig is well guarded. The guy explained to Bei that the secret room of the pig is well guarded too. Bei suggested a way to get what he wanted, which was to become one of the guards in order to have the ability to reach any place. The guy added one information about the test, which is made to choose one person to be a guard, and this choice is based on the success in a mission which aims at refining a body in the body speak. The guy kept explaining and giving more details about the pigs, and warned Bei about the danger. The competitors gathered to know which kind of bodies they were going to refine. The mission was hard, and it will take at least 6 months unless if they could use one rare pill. Bei spent days and nights to make the pill on his own. When he finished, a liquid got shed on the blood pool, and it caused a decrease in its level, so he ran to tell the leaders of that sect. And later, it appeared that he refined a huge body of a beast which protected him after that. The leader was unexpectedly so happy, and he announced that he passed to the other level of the competition. In the next level, all the leaders gathered to choose only 3 competitors. Song's aunt came also, as she is the leader of the central pig. She dropped a bottle and all the students were fighting to catch it. Bei tricked 3 of them to help him, and then he spent the next 2 months in developing his skills, and by making a new pill, he caused the eruption of an old volcano. The leaders were so impressed by what he achieved, and they tried to convince him to join their pigs, but only Song's aunt charmed him and he joined the central one. Song took Bei to his new pig for the first time to show him his aunt, and she gave him a copy that will be so helpful in showing him the instruction of how to become a member of Song's family. Bei Xiaochun went to the same palace. He wanted to recover the relic which was in the secret room that night. He sneaked in to the castle and he met another masked guy who sneaked in just like him. When he decided to attack him, he figured out that his power were not working. All he could do is to bite his arm. Later, he realized that it was a woman, and unfortunately, he didn't get what he wanted, and they both went out when the guards interrupted. That girl was so worried about hiding her identity, and her boss told her many secret things. Bae Xiaochun trained at his house, and he made a good work when an old powerful man came and told him that his performance was impressive and insisted that he must participate in that Song family exam. In order to win this competition, he found that he needed to gain more power, so he went to the river of the most concentrated blood, and he started following the instruction he had in the copy, and the wanted result was a sword, but he couldn't make it correctly, so he made a small one. Song came over and he attacked the boy for being in his property. The fight got harder, and after every attack, the sword got better. When Bae dove in the river of blood, he came back stronger and consumed some of the other students' energy. Due to the QI which he gained, he could summon 10 magical elephants and 1 huge beast. His power was growing so fast, and the result was an amazing sword just like the one he wanted. The citizens were so mad about the fact that he was consuming their energy, and they start running over him. They wanted him dead. He became so strong they couldn't cause any injury. They got killed instead. When Song came over, he started the most powerful attack in the sect, but got surprised of that boy's resistance. Bae fed up and decided to show them all his real powers. He flew up and summoned his huge beast and destroyed the whole city. He kept destroying everything till one of the strongest teachers appeared to stop him. The leader stopped the fight and brought Bae back to his normal situation. All the other leaders wanted the boy to be a part of their pick because Song's aunt came and took her student. At the end of all that, he found himself homeless, so he decided to look for a home in the public residence. Unfortunately, all the homes were taken, so he had to convince people to leave their houses, and that was how he got a very beautiful place to stay in. Song's aunt visited him and he impressed her with his sword. A warm speech was given to her, and she started telling him also the story of her sect and how to many parts it was devised. All in all, she ended the conversation by telling that the war between the 4 sects was getting closer and he must stay by her side. In the next day, the aunt decided to go Ling Chi sect to where Bae belonged. That explained why he was so happy and excited. When they arrived to their destination, 2 ships came to show them the way to the port. The aunt also started explaining their good intention, as she knew that the other sect is much powerful. She came to ask for peace. When they landed down, she asked to see Bae's house, so Yizeng is also Bae. So he took them right to the house and started explaining the presence of every detail. Also, he started telling his story from the beginning till the end, and that was so impressive. People didn't know his real identity. They thought it was magic. When it was time for them to go, Bae's partner appeared and he grew up and he became very big and powerful. And then 2 leaders were discussing the conditions and the result of the war. Ling Chi sect did not accept the obligations and preferred to die in the war than to live with no dignity. At the end, the attempt of avoiding the war failed and Yizeng's sect went back to her land. The 2 sides started preparing for the war and working on their armies while Bae was between them, stuck and couldn't come out with a solution. Bae had a plan on his head. He asked his leader to take him to an abandoned place where he spent 2 weeks trying to figure out a way to make a new pill. At the end of these weeks, he stood up on his feet and stepped to the wall. When he touched it, he lost his consciousness, but at the same time, his spirit was getting more science and he could learn a new method. What he saw there released the green lights to announce the appearance of a new master, and his hair turned white for a second. When the process got finished, he fell down and the aunt caught him. He revealed that he received the inheritance of Danchi sect. The woman asked him to relax because he seemed to be exhausted of the hard work he did. In the next day, when he was studying more, the door knocked and it was the most beautiful knock in his entire life, because when he opened, he found hundreds of boxes which contained different plants and all the materials he once needed to make his magical pills. He started his experience that he couldn't start before, but most of them failed terribly. Song did not like the mess, and maybe he felt jealous of the way Bae was getting better. He started an attack on him. The attack was supposed to ruin things, but it didn't. It actually helped the boy to get more ideas and to make the pills successfully. As in his old sect, every good attempt caused a heavy rain, and this what happened in his new one. The rain was pouring and affected people by making their hair way longer. Also, it killed a lot of animals, the thing which made the boss ask for a good result. Bae came to tell her that he made 4 good pills, and it was confirmed by the great leader himself when he saw them. As he was so good in what he did, all the teachers asked him to make different pills, and they promised to give him as much money as he would ask, but his boss interrupted and asked them to leave him alone since he belonged to her pick. Meanwhile, Bae was not interested in what they offer as much as he was interested in medicine. His next experience was with the bodies of some monsters. He tried refining them, but he failed and produced a black smoke which poisoned people outside. And again, the same scenario got started when he almost got punished, but he surprised them with a new product that controlled people's humor and attitude. Then he started visiting the other pigs in order to make more pills for each one of them one by one. And he knew about the demons as he tried to make one of them help him to consume the poison smoke that came out of his experiences. But right after that, the demons attacked Bei, but it was a losing game, and it ended up by apologizing. After making a pill for every pig, Bei didn't forget his boss and he handed her a very special perfume. When Song saw them, he thought that it was something dangerous, so he attacked Bei, but his aunt stopped him and punished him. Song saw at that moment the amount of love which was between that couple, and he got hurt and jealous. It appeared later that all the pills that Bei made for the other pigs were counterfeited, and they didn't work as they were supposed to do. The leaders attacked him, but his boss was there. They were about to start fighting each other. When the boy found another 5-level pill, they all won it. But before he decides the new owner, the great leader appeared to announce to them that the battle got closer and they need to prepare themselves for it. The two sects were so powerful, and this battle will be the greatest of all times. And that's what the second season of this anime is about. Thanks for watching, and wait for more videos.